Morning, folks. Sorry, Facebook. Before I continue with this one, I guess I better put the chat on. Before I continue with this one. Right, folks, good morning. In the truck, Davey, out the truck and at home in his office in Salford, North Lanarkshire, where it's a bloody chilly, wet, miserable morning, 7 degrees, brrr, winter's on its way. Okay, what brings Davey to your screens this morning? Well, what brings Davey to the screens this morning is Sir Keir Starmer's Chatham House speech yesterday on the situation between Israel and Gaza, where he tries to explain his stance on no calling for a ceasefire. Now, I'm going to play this for you for a couple of minutes while he explains why he doesn't want a ceasefire, and then we'll go through it. It's only a couple of minutes viewing. I'll put it up the now. And I would suggest that everybody listens to this monster, and then I'll explain why he's a bloody monster. Okay, so here we go. This is Starmer. He's going to explain why he doesn't support a ceasefire. All right, here we go.
Is why, while I understand calls for a ceasefire at this stage, I do not believe that it is the correct position now, for two reasons. One, because a ceasefire always freezes any conflict in the state where it currently lies. And as we speak, that would leave Hamas with the infrastructure and the capability to carry out the sort of attack we saw on October the 7th. Attacks that are still ongoing. Hostages who should be released still held. Hamas would be emboldened and start preparing for future violence immediately. And it is this context which explains my second reason, which is that our current calls for pauses in the fighting for clear and specific humanitarian purposes, and which must start immediately, is right in practice as well as principle.
Now, that's all I really wanted you to hear with this muppet this morning, folks. To call for a ceasefire now apparently would leave Hamas with the infrastructure to do it again. So as the death toll hits 10,000 or almost 10,000 today, Starmer says that stopping a ceasefire would leave Hamas with the infrastructure to do it again. Infrastructure! 1 in 20 residential blocks in Gaza has been bombed. 200 fucking schools have been bombed. 15 fucking hospitals have been bombed. Nearly 10,000 dead, as I say. And this bam pot's worried about infrastructure. There's no fucking infrastructure in Gaza. None. And as we know, the Israelis have declared everything a military target. So if you as much as take a car on the road to try and flee North Gaza into South Gaza, the tanks will take you out. Wow. What else was Starmer advocating for there? Pauses in the fighting so that humanitarian aid can get in. So what he's saying is, Israel hasn't blown enough of the fucking place up yet, and hasn't killed enough civilians yet to call for a ceasefire. And by the way, just to taunt the bastards in Gaza, let's stop the fighting for 2 minutes, feed them, water them, give them some medicine, and then bomb the bastards again. This Starmer guy's a sick fucking puppy. So, no ceasefire because Hamas might do it again. They might strike out of their prison, their apartheid jail. And well, there's no ceasefire. Let's stop for a wee bit and give them something to eat and some water before we blow them to fuck again. Starmer is a sick puppy, and you've just heard it for his own lips. No ceasefire because Gaza's not been destroyed enough. Well, by the way, let's stop and torment the fuckers and feed them and water them and then blow them up. This is one sick puppy. The poor people of Gaza. My heart has been ripped out here. And this is the shit that we have as leaders. This is what we've got. We'll get Sunak, fuck knows what he thinks, because he's done what he always does when there's trouble. He's went to fucking ground, nobody knows where he is. His Home Secretary's trying to call the protesters haters and wants to criminalise people standing up for the rights of the people of Gaza. Now we've got the leader of the opposition yesterday in the Chatham House speech tell us no ceasefire in case Hamas does it again. And by the way, while there's no ceasefire, let's pause for a wee minute and feed the people of Palestine and the people in the Gaza Strip and give them some water, give them 2 minutes respite, just to seem like we're human, just to seem like we've got humanitarian aid going in, and then stop that aid at the end of the pause and let Israel bomb the shit out of the poor people in their apartheid prison. Starmer is one sick fucking puppy, and anybody that wants to vote for that nut job is a sick puppy T and complicit in these war crimes. Starmer's complicit in these war crimes. Sunak's complicit in these war crimes. Suella Braverman's complicit in these war crimes. They're all complicit in these war crimes. And let's call them what they are. Collective punishment of people is a war crime. And Starmer justifies it by saying they haven't blown enough up. They haven't killed enough people. But just to look human, let's stop and feed them for a wee bit. Give them a bit of medicine, a bit of water. And then say about blowing them up off the face of the earth again. There's a genocide on, folks. Now, prior to watching his Chatham House speech yesterday, I watched a clip of a baby in Gaza sucking on the spout of an empty water bowser trying to get a drink. A baby, a toddler, maybe 15, 16 months old, sucking on the dry tap of a water bowser trying to get a drink. And this guy thinks he can justify no calling for a ceasefire because no enough of the Gaza Strip has been destroyed, no enough civilians are dead. Let's just pause a wee bit, says Starmer, give them something to eat, something to drink. Then we can claim we're making humanitarian efforts. And then we'll stop with humanitarian efforts and let Israel bomb the shit out of them again. He is one sick fucking puppy. And anybody that wants to vote for that shower of shite deserves everything that's coming to them. Monsters, a lot of them. I'll leave the COVID inquiry in a moment. David and I need something to talk about in the show. But I couldn't leave this one be. I watched that speech and I was sick. And what made me even sicker was the journalists weren't asking the right questions. I didn't hear a journalist asking them how much of Gazan infrastructure had to be destroyed. I didn't hear a journalist asking them how many Palestinian people had to die. What I heard them saying was, the people in that open-air prison might riot again, but let's throw them some tidbits and then shoot them. That's what I heard them say. And you just heard that now because I just played it for you. And just to be sure that you got it, I'll play it again.
How do you fancy winning this fully restored 1996 MPI Mini? It looks absolutely fantastic.
While I understand calls for a ceasefire at this stage, I do not believe that it is the correct position now, for two reasons. One, because a ceasefire always freezes any conflict in the state where it currently lies. And as we speak, that would leave Hamas with the infrastructure and the capability to carry out the sort of attack we saw on October the 7th. Attacks that are still ongoing. Hostages who should be released still held. Hamas would be emboldened and start preparing for future violence immediately. And it is this context which explains my second reason, which is that our current calls for pauses in the fighting for clear and specific humanitarian purposes, and which must start immediately, is right in practice as well as principle.
So, there you have it. You've heard it twice. You've heard it Basemouth. And thankfully, when the man left that building, there were people outside shouting criminal at him. Because that's exactly what that was. They haven't bombed enough of Gaza, they haven't killed enough Gazans yet. And Hamas might strike again. Hamas isn't the people of Gaza. The ceasefire isn't for Hamas. And normally when you deal with terrorists, you don't blow up a civilian population to deal with terrorism. That's not how it's done. You hunt down the leaders, you bring them to justice, and you hunt down the participants, and you bring them to justice. But you just heard it. For Sir Comrade Starmer, the kid Starmer. No ceasefire. They haven't wrecked enough of Gaza yet. They haven't killed enough Palestinians yet. And by the way, we'll have wee pauses in the middle while they're killing Palestinians and wrecking and bombing Gaza to give them some food and some water. What a fucking monster. And anybody who wants to vote for this guy is a fucking complicit monster and all. Anyway, that's a Davy rant for the day. I don't know how I made it through this one without tears. As I said, the clip I watched 5 minutes before his speech started was a baby sucking on a spigot and an empty water bowser on the back of the truck trying to get a drink of water. There is no water in Gaza. There is no food in Gaza. There's no power in Gaza. There's no medicines in Gaza. This is a bloody outrage. And Comrade Starmer is no fit for public office. Call himself a human rights lawyer. I'd say have a nice day, but it's not looking like a nice day out there at my stomach churning. And there's more of the COVID inquiry coming after watching Cummins yesterday. I'm sick. But what's going on in Gaza and Starmer stance, I'm even sicker. Spread this around. People have to know what this evil, evil piece of shit is proposing. He's proposing destroying Gaza, and he's proposing giving wee breaks in the middle so that they can feed the people who are being killed. Yeah. Ah. Bye for now.